and I am ready to welcome on our panel, Catherine.
Hi. Hello, Brian. How are you today?
I am awesome. I am excited for Friday. I'm excited for the event. I'm excited for a weekend. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Friday, as you said.
So
I'm super thrilled about what we're going to talk about right now.
This is actually like a really good flow into the last into the last segment. We had a bunch of education. Now we're going to go into a whole panel discussion here about crypto. I'll let you take it away, Catherine, and your guests.
Thank you. Well, yes, crypto. This is what we're going to talk about, specifically how cryptocurrency is disrupting finance. And I have amazing panelists here with me today. We have Charles Allen from BTCS, Jeffrey Morhe from Bitfarms, Richard Byworth from Diginex, Sheldon Bennett from DMG Blockchain. The thing is that they have an amazing experience in crypto and with crypto. So I'll let you guys introduce yourself just for a little bit to talk about, yourself, what your company does. So we'll start with Richard, please.
Thanks, Catherine. I'm the CEO of Diginex, Byworth. Diginex is a full digital asset ecosystem, including an exchange. We are an offshore company. We're listed on NASDAQ, so Singaporean based. Our exchange sits in Singapore. Our custodian sits in London under the FCA, and our asset manager sits in Switzerland under FINMA.
Thank you. Sheldon, could you please take the floor?
Yes, hi, my name is Sheldon Bennett. I'm the CEO of DMG Blockchain Solutions. We're a Vancouver-based company up in Canada. We're a pure play miner. We have our own 85 megawatt substation, run off renewable power, off hydroelectricity. As well, we have a software division in our company called Blockseer, where we run pools, including Terra Pool, which is the first renewable energy pool, and the first OFAC pool that we licensed to Marathon Digital. We also have an exchange coming up and some new products around trading Bitcoins in a compliant and ethical way.
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So I'm the CEO of BTCS. BTCS is actually the first U.S. public company focused on blockchain technologies and Bitcoin. And the company is currently focused on securing disruptive blockchains such as Ethereum's Beacon Chain, as well as others. So we're, right now the first U.S. public company to be staking Ethereum, and we plan to stake Cardano and some other disruptive blockchains in the near future as well.
Wow, that's exciting. And Jeff, please.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Yes, yeah. I'm Jeff Morhe. I'm the president of Bitfarms. And Bitfarms has got an interesting history. We've been around for about 5 years now, publicly traded for the better part of 4 years. And we're, like Sheldon, a pure play Bitcoin mining company. We're actually one of the largest publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies in the world. We mine about 500 Bitcoin per quarter right now, and we have a hash rate exceeding 1.4 exahash. Our current operations involve 5 locations, all in the province of Quebec, powered by nice environmentally green hydroelectric power. And we have the plans this year to triple our size, and then from 2020 to the end of 2022 by a factor of 8 times. So we've got quite the growth story. And one of our greatest things that we've got is that just a week and a half ago, we were approved by the NASDAQ to start trading on the NASDAQ soon. And we were invited to participate at the global market tier, which is the mid-market tier. And there's no other crypto mining companies that have managed to get on that tier so far. So that's a real privilege and a testimonial of what we managed to accomplish so far. So that's a little background for us.
We're going to definitely come back to that point. Just an observation. I don't think I've ever had such a serious panel, seriously. But let's start with the first question, because we don't have too much time, but we would love to have so much time to discuss. But I think that the biggest question, despite obviously Tesla comments, recent ones, we're gonna come back to that. But the biggest question is that a lot of companies, huge corporations, institutions are coming into the crypto space, like PayPal, Xbox, MicroStrategy. They are either putting their crypto assets on the treasury, right? Or they are introducing cryptocurrency as payment options. So there is like 2-part question. My first question is, what does it mean for the crypto industry? And the second question is, how do you handle cryptocurrencies on your balance sheets or as a payment option as a company? So I'd love to start with Charles.
Okay, sure. So I think It makes a lot of sense for larger companies to start putting crypto on their balance sheet. It's a nice inflationary hedge. With respect to, accepting crypto, I think that's more complicated for companies. I mean, if you're a public company if you're in offshore and you report under IFRS, you can carry the crypto at the fair market value. If you're a U.S. company and you report under GAAP, it gets challenging. You actually carry it at the lowest price it's ever been since you purchased it or acquired it. So, for example, like BTCS, we have 37 million in crypto, but on our balance sheet it shows up as 12.3. So there's obviously, if you're a public company looking to hold crypto, there are some accounting implications just as we wait for the accounting framework to change to really adopt to what cryptocurrencies are.
Richard, would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, look, I mean, we're in a fortunate position where we actually report under IFRS because we're a foreign company. So yeah, look, I mean, we actually help a lot of international companies put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. We actually work with the Treasury Management Institute in Europe, which is the industry body for corporate treasurers, around how to store Bitcoin safely, put it on their balance sheet, and answer some of the questions that Charles addressed around accounting and taxation, these sorts of things. But yeah, I mean, from the perspective of does it make sense? Yeah, we're big believers in the inflationary hedge with the very disproportionate reaction that we've seen to the pandemic by central banks, which was, in fairness, pretty much their only option given all the printing that they'd done since 2008. So yeah, look, Bitcoin is a very sensible choice for people's balance sheets right now.
Jeff, you work at a crypto mining company, right? So do you have crypto assets on your balance sheet?
We were in that position where up until this year, we pretty much had to sell every Bitcoin that we mined just to pay the bills and pay for growth. And in January this year, we actually started a Bitcoin retention program, and we have well over 500 Bitcoin on the balance sheet now. And yes, we are IFRS as well. So that question has been answered, but we're big bulls. And when you can mine a Bitcoin for under $10,000 and it's currently in the market at between 50 and 60,000, what we enjoy doing is putting it on the balance sheet. And then because that's effectively our adjusted EBITDA that's invested in there, we get the compounding feature of not just having the Bitcoin on our balance sheet from a low cost, but we basically embed our profit in there as well to compound it. So it's a nice secondary feature to investing in our company.
But for old school investors, isn't it too risky to put your assets into cryptocurrency? It's hugely volatile.
It is volatile, and nobody said that this isn't a risk-free sector. But if you have the premise that you're going to have an appreciating Bitcoin, then investing in a Bitcoin miner is probably the best way to leverage your investment. So it's going to come with the gains, it's going to come with the downs, but when you look at what's happening long term and you figure that's going to happen into the future, then investment in our sector is one that you can't take lightly, but should bring good returns to you.
Sheldon, can your customers pay for your blockchain solutions with cryptocurrency right now?
No, we actually don't accept.
Why not?
We have customers that we have agreements with that are hosting customers that we do revenue share in cryptocurrency. So it's sort of like accepting cryptocurrency. But in general, we tried taking cryptocurrency early on. When we became a public company, our auditors didn't like it very much. That's changing as they're getting used to it. We do a lot of audit work as technical consultants for different audit firms. So it's getting better. As like I say, private companies and public companies are two different worlds. So, as the rules are better understood and as auditing firms better understand how cryptocurrency works, I think that this will change over time. But right now, we're not taking it as a payment for any type of services we do.
Okay, got it. So investing, yes. Payment option, no, apparently. And just feel free.
It's fine as a payment option. We're just not set up for it. We just don't have the system set up to accept crypto the way that a merchant would have a merchant account to take Visa or MasterCard.
Yeah, sure. I understand. And just feel free, if you want to say something and I haven't mentioned you, feel free to just jump into conversation. This is a democratic conversation. So the second question I've had is obviously cryptocurrency mining. I mean, we have been preparing for this panel and we mentioned that question, right? But something happened on Wednesday. And thank you, Elon Musk, so much for bringing so much attention to this topic, right? So the latest development in this particular direction is, of course, Tesla decided not to accept Bitcoin as payment options for its vehicles due to environmental concerns. Right now, that's a very good point. A lot of people, think, but I disagree because I've seen a lot of research suggesting that it's not true. And I have a couple of stats to prove that. According to CoinDesk research, right? CoinDesk is the leading cryptocurrency publication. A lot more renewable sources of energy have actually been used to mine cryptocurrency than in any other industry. And to prove to you that this is a very high profitable sector, only yesterday, mining Ethereum has become more profitable actually than Bitcoin. I'm sorry, I know that a lot of you guys just mine Bitcoin, but Ethereum miners recorded 77.36 million in daily revenue. So that's huge. All I'm saying, and I'm leading to the question, this is huge, right? And cryptocurrency mining is a way to earn money, but it also sort of a way for different companies to operate. So my first question is obviously to Jeff. First of all, can you explain a little bit how cryptocurrency mining works for corporations and for just retail traders?
Well, we're basically in the energy conversion business. We convert energy into Bitcoin. And from there, Bitcoin just opens up the rest of the universe. And we're going to talk about that, I think, as the panel goes along. But fortunately, we're in a place in Quebec where we use 100% hydroelectric electricity. We use 69 megawatts now. We're going to more than double the size in Quebec using that energy source. So we're in a good place right now in terms of that. We are expanding into Argentina with a natural gas source as well, but it's a utility grade facility and it uses all the latest technology to keep the greenhouse gases minimized. And we're looking at, because that's not in production yet, on how to sort of do the offsets and look at that. But in terms of renewables, yeah, we're actively looking at renewables, solar, wind, and maybe energy management with a combination of hydro at night. So there's a lot of things that are going on. And as a miner, we get to go to the energy source as opposed to the other way around. So that's what's driven a lot of the CoinDesk type of discussions about of some of the differences here. And yeah, there's a lot of far more bigger industries that pollute a lot that need to convert ahead of us. But we're doing our bit and we're going to be part of that evolution as well.
But do you have specific numbers of electricity, for instance, that you use as a crypto mining company? Do you have specific numbers? How much energy do you actually use?
Oh, right now we're drawing 69 megawatts.
69. Okay, Sheldon, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big question. As many people in the cryptocurrency mining know, we started the first OFAC pool. We've now started the first renewable energy pool. This is where miners can join our pool that have renewable energy, and it's sort of a statement that they're on the right path in sort of being responsible on the ESG front. But the question about renewables is really important, and I think a lot of people understand that when you have companies like Bitfarms and ourselves that are large miners, we are looking for the cheapest energy, and at the end of the day, the cheapest energy is renewable. Solar is the cheapest energy. Wind is the cheapest energy. Geothermal is the cheapest. I mean, Iceland's a great example of that. You have large aluminium factories and plants in Iceland because of its cheap energy and it's renewable energy. And when you think about coal versus renewables, you have this idea that coal, you've got to dig it up, you've got to transport it, you've got to consume it. That's all very expensive, time consuming. Whereas renewables, you put a solar panel down or you put a wind farm up, and you have power right away. Now, you have day and night issues, but you have power right away, and that power is essentially free after your capex. And I've explained in an interview yesterday. I spent an hour and a half with a reporter talking about renewable energy and crypto mining, And I explained to them, I said, I sit on hydro just like Bitfarms. I have a 60 or an 85 megawatt substation that we privately own, so we don't impact the community with our power usage. And I'm putting up 5 megawatts of solar panels on my 30 acres of land I have. I don't need to do it, but at the end of the day, after I pay my capex down of those solar panels, I'm getting free energy. And all Bitcoin mining companies are looking for the lowest cost energy. Any company is. If you're a pulp and paper company, you're looking for the lowest cost energy. Any energy intensive business is looking for low cost energy, and the path to that is renewables. It will become the lowest cost energy that there is out there, and it's just a matter of the market transforming, infrastructure transforming. And Bitcoin miners are sort of at the forefront of this because we're so easy to measure our energy consumption. We're very open and transparent. You can figure it out really fast. Whereas the pulp and paper mills or the pulp and paper industry, and I'm just using that as an example, it's very hard to measure. And a lot of people are just happy with how paper is produced. They're not asking questions about how it's produced. And that could be any industry. I'm not picking up pulp and paper, but it's a huge power consumer as well. And it has a product that everybody can easily see and touch, and it's been around for decades. Bitcoin's new. It came out of a history that had a lot of bad press. But it's changed a lot. It's modernized a lot. It's become very acceptable. It's growing to the mass markets. And, the energy debate is a debate worth having. But I think as industry leaders in North America, we're doing all the right things.
And I know that you have worked with Bitfury before, right? What would be the best country actually in terms of how much you're going to pay for mining? What would be the best country to mine cryptocurrency?
Well, I believe Canada. You could look at it from different points of view. One is the bulk of the energy in Canada is renewable, and most of it comes from dams, as hydroelectric. There's lots of wind and solar. You can buy it. You can build your own infrastructure, but you can also use the Canadian infrastructure, and it has low cost energy around different provinces. So, I'm on one side in British Columbia, which is mainly BC Hydro, which has abundance of hydro, which is sold to the U.S., sold to Alberta. Jeff's over in Quebec. It has abundance in Quebec Hydro. I mean, there's lots of very cheap power, and what you have to understand about power is that it's transportable in some ways, but it's also underutilized in a lot of places. And so you have industrial areas that have a lot of power, but they don't have the resources that used to be there. The economy changes over time. Where there used to be a lumber mill or a pulp mill, it maybe over the last 30 years, it's not there anymore. But that power infrastructure is sitting there and it's sort of stranded or not used or underutilized. Where we set up our place, we picked a place with 2 transmission lines. One transmission line has 250 megawatts. The other one has 500 megawatts. And we're 85 megawatts. We connected the 250 megawatt line. It was only using 30 megawatts for the local community. And so there's tons of power out there that's stranded, that is not being consumed. And we're bringing in jobs to an underutilized area, and we're taking power from dams that were underutilized. This is a great economic gain for the region that we ended up putting our crypto mining center in.
Richard looks like he agrees with you, but before I go to Richard, just a quick question. But I've heard that Kazakhstan and Georgia, the country, are much cheaper to do operations there. Is it true?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff knows this and others know this. I mean, I don't want to hog the conversation, but yeah, I mean, there's always going to be places that have cheaper power. But there aren't cheap power is one part of the equation. Infrastructure is another part. Your internet, your access to skilled labor, the ability to work with government, compliance and regulatory issues. These are all really important things, especially for public companies that are growing. These are really important things. So the cheapest power is not the most important. As Jeff said, I can make a Bitcoin for $10,000 and sell it for $50,000 US. There's a lot of profit in it. So it's not always about the cheapest power so much as doing things properly and growing an industry properly. And as public companies, we're the ambassadors to this.
Right. And as technology evolves and solar and wind evolves and the price comes down and battery technology gets better, then we will make moves elsewhere in the world to find the cheaper power and make the economics work. So,
Richard and Charles, I want to bring you guys. Oh, sorry. You were saying.
I was just going to add one comment. I mean, having some experience in Bitcoin mining, BTCS was the first public company to mine Bitcoin back in 2014 and 2015. And one thing I've kind of looked at over, our 7 years in the space is the technology is shifting, right? You can't really build that much on Bitcoin's blockchain in terms of smart contracts. It's not that scalable. And I've seen a big shift to a lot of proof of stake consensus mechanism, which is another mechanism to secure a blockchain. And so while I agree with everyone on the panel that it's overblown in terms of the spotlight that's being put on the electricity used by Bitcoin miners, I still look at the question of, do you need to spend any when there are alternative consensus mechanisms that have been proven to be as secure, such as Cardano and Polkadot, and Ethereum's moving to a proof of stake blockchain. So one of my questions is this something that needs to be as big, right, with the scalability of other blockchains and the ability for them to have disruptive applications like NFT and DeFi built on top of them. So I think that's a kind of a bigger, higher level question to look at, whether or not, what consensus algorithms should we use to secure blockchains instead of how much does Bitcoin's blockchain use in electricity compared to other industries? Because it's kind of irrelevant as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there's going to be room for everybody. And I think whether it's proof of stake or proof of work, like there's inherent benefits in all of those. And this is going to be such a huge part of the growth of everything in cryptocurrencies and DeFi that there's going to be a place for everybody. And there's lots of room for this pie to grow and people to play into it. And we're going to find as the ecosystem grows, how people fit into it and what's best to use in which circumstances.
Richard, I want to ask you, have you tried mining cryptocurrency personally or?
Actually, Diginex used to mine crypto at the beginning of the company. Actually, to Sheldon's point, we actually first started mining in northern Sweden, where there were hydroelectric power stations that had been used previously by the lumber industry that was no longer being used. So it was stranded, orphaned electricity, exactly the same situation that we were effectively incentivized to be using. I mean, to your point about Kazakhstan, and what they're trying to do is drive industry to the country and attract miners by giving them zero cost energy, which is, they're able to generate through, some of these clean energy projects that they have going on there as well. So, everybody's trying to drive the industry. It was the point that Sheldon mentioned. You're driving the economic community in that particular region. I think this is actually a very attractive part of Bitcoin mining. It's a very promising part of the industry.
You've mentioned that you did do it in the past, but why did you stop?
We stopped it because we were mining Ether with GPUs. We knew that the machines would have to be replaced on a fairly regular basis, upgraded. And so what we ended up doing was just selling it at the height of 2018 peak in the Ethereum market.
Unfortunately, I've been informed that we have 7 minutes left, and we have to give the audience what they want. And the last, I just have too many questions to you guys. So I'm going to follow up and write an article about this. So my last question is actually the obvious one. Do you trade cryptocurrencies? What's in your portfolio? What kind of trading tips you have, and what kind of projects are you looking into? And please don't tell me that they are meme-based cryptocurrency or dog-inspired cryptocurrencies. Just please don't. Okay, well, I think we'll start with Charles. Do you trade? What's in your portfolio?
In our company's portfolio, we have Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're looking to add Cardano and a bunch of others. Personally, I own a lot of different cryptos, probably 10 plus, but I do not own any meme-inspired cryptos. So,
okay. And do you have any trading tips for people who are just starting and look around into the cryptocurrency trading world?
I'm not an active trader. I've taken more of a buy and hold, and I've scaled into my position starting back in 2017, 18, 19, and it's panned out very well. I think cryptocurrencies are going to be the foundation for Web 3.0 and the backbone of money in the future. So it's really a long-term bet. If you buy and it goes down, don't panic. Unless you want to actively trade and look at technical analysis, I would say. Just if you have some disposable income, put it in some top cryptos or crypto companies like some of the ones here, and just let it be.
So what we in the cryptocurrency space describe as hodler, right?
Indeed.
Okay, Richard, do you personally trade?
Yeah, I do. I trade every day. We have an exchange, so I use that quite actively. I think that Charles is absolutely right. The majority of your money should be in Bitcoin and potentially a bit of Ethereum. But if you're looking to have a bit of fun and play some of the other coins, I think there's some really interesting stuff going on. some of the coins that Charles mentioned, but I think Polkadot's very interesting. I think Chainlink and the Graph are effectively different approaches to the Oracle problem that are very interesting. Our own exchange token, Equo, is a very interesting coin. People should take a look at. You can only buy it on our exchange, Equos. And the other utility coin that I would recommend is probably BAT, Basic Attention Token, which I think is very interesting.
Any meme-inspired cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, no, I'm not into dogs.
That's what I like to hear, actually. I've interviewed a lot of people, and I really love when people from the cryptocurrency space invest into projects that bring value. I'm not going to be tired of repeating that. Sheldon, have you traded? Do you actively trade?
I have. I wouldn't say I'm so active. I mean, as a company, you know, we hodl Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are two of the cryptocurrencies that we mine. You know, we look at a lot of different currencies and different ideas. So, you know, we're sort of active that way. But when we look at currency, we look at investments. So we say, you know, what as a company should we invest in? Where do we see that currency going? So, you know, do we see a future in, you know, one of these tokens, or, you know, a Litecoin or Bitcoin SV or all these other ones, and we say, should we get our resources behind it, invest in it? And so I look at the utility of that coin. What is it doing? What does it achieve as a coin? And if we see a market for it and say, yeah, this achieves and solves this problem by using this coin, then we'll get behind it as a company. And me personally, I'll get behind it and invest in it. But then we'll start putting resources into it and supporting it by mining it or staking it or whatever we may do. So that's how I think about coins, is I always look at what's the end game of what it achieves in society or for business.
And then in terms of how much you should wait for the coin to actually go up, you can wait for a long time, especially years in the crypto space. How do you define long-term value if this cryptocurrency is actually going to go in price? Because we, as Chainlink, right? So this is a blockchain Oracle platform. It has not seen a lot of interest for the past couple of years, but it is up right now. But people are just starting to notice it right now. So how do you define what kind of projects are going to go up? Yeah, Sheldon, that's still to you. Okay, if Sheldon is not responding, can you hear us? Just let us know. Probably
I can hear you.
Jeff, please tell us about your portfolio, your trading experience, and what we should look into.
Well, we offer a different type of trading experience because we are, as you said, a hodler. We're long-term focused. We're bullish on Bitcoin. And our trading is really through a securitization mechanism because we're putting it on our balance sheet. We're asking people to use us as a bit of a proxy for Bitcoin by investing in our stock. Easier to get in, easier to get out. And we basically have a leveraged return based on what's happening with Bitcoin. So our trading is more in our paper, in our stock, and than actually doing something creative with our Bitcoin portfolio right now.
But are you looking into different other cryptocurrencies that might potentially have value?
Right now, like we're constantly looking at diversification and risk approaches and what we should be doing next. So we've looked at doing other currencies as well. We're not there yet, but we're not trading our existing Bitcoin portfolio for anything right now. It's being good use for the value of the company, and there are opportunities to actually invest it elsewhere and improve liquidity, get returns on it. We haven't gotten there yet, and as Sheldon mentioned, the auditors make sure that we're doing things very, very well, and we've got a top 4 auditing firm, so they keep us pretty tight and on a short leash, but also our governance is very high, and we want to protect the value for our shareholders. So that's where we're coming from.
Understood. Sheldon actually said that he lost audio. We can see you.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're back. Yeah, but unfortunately, we don't have any more time. Brent, if you hear us, can we take questions from the audience? And
hi. How did it go? That was fun.
Hopefully good. I loved it all the way. But do we have time to take questions from the audience?
Unfortunately, we do not, Catherine. I know.
No. Okay, so then I have to thank you all for joining me for this panel. It was very informative, and I hope our viewers really enjoy that. So I'm just gonna look forward to talking to you all again.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Catherine.
Thank you so much.